Hey there, it's Alice with the Witch in the Glen. I'm just trying to clear the energy a little bit here. Let's see, check it out. I found this hawk feather yesterday. Pretty cool. Don't find a hawk feather very often. I found one last year right around this time as well. It might be because they're, do you think maybe they're molting or something? I don't know. What's a time of year? So I was going to do a video like this, a reading is what I mean. I was trying to determine which deck I wanted to use, and I realized that I haven't even opened this deck, so I thought we could initiate it together. This is the Dreaming Way Tarot by Rome Choi, illustrated by Kwan Sheena. And this is the Dreaming Way Tarot. Let's see. So, I've been kind of meditating and sitting with the energy. Let's see. Two of Swords is already coming out. Let's not pull any cards quite yet. I just want to like shuffle these. These feel really nice, by the way. Tower. The art's cool so far. Look, it's like pen. The energy is pretty heavy, and I don't think it's because I've been burning too much incense. I've been sitting outside for a while. I was so sleepy this morning, and I was sitting outside for a while this afternoon, and I just couldn't really get up very much energy. I had a big channeled message this morning, which I think it was a little bit of a dense message too, so it kind of is gone with the energy. I think we're going to try and get to the bottom of why there's so much density right now and what's going on in the collective, because I'm not reading on myself, I'm reading on and channeling the energy of the collective, which means the broader, like the average of the consciousness of the earth. So we like to, the nature of consciousness is twofold, and we like to talk about this in terms of charges and duality, and in particularly in the spiritual community, the spiritual kind of new agey science intersected with spirit, mysticism kind of community. We like to talk about it in terms of talking about the divine feminine and the divine masculine. But it's really opposite charges, like positive and negative on a battery. That's what the divine feminine and the divine masculine actually are. They're equal and opposite of each other. So each is the other's shadow and creates the other's shadow, and vice versa to infinity. So it's a way of storying really, it's like an adaptation of the energy to make itself into a story. That's what our reality is. The 3D reality is like the energy providing a story for itself, and the experience, and making and living and creating all of the many experiences that could possibly be. And so we, this is all just coming out. So we recently in history, relatively recently in past decades, have surpassed this point where there's nothing the energies cannot be created. New adaptations of energies cannot be creative without just uploading straight to the quantum, which just means it's like super high vibrational energies that we've been developing, super high vibrational consciousness that the collective has developed. And it's like we've hit the ceiling and there's only up from here. And so it's like we passed this threshold of the expansion of consciousness, and we are living in this age where we are rapidly consolidating all of the experiences and fears and unconscious, collective unconscious. It's all rapidly being manifested because we sort of hit this singularity where technology helps us to connect across boundaries. Our species originated as like, there's nothing that matters to you that is outside of like a 20-mile radius. Like, you don't, like, we're not made to relate to the earth in this like we're just not made to relate to the rest of the earth in the way that we do. We kind of like, we don't understand and appreciate, and we've not experienced, everyone has not experienced all cultures. It's just not possible. And it would, that in and of itself creates like a new culture. But it's just like all the experiences that could be had have been had, and experience just basically boils down to energy and emotion. It's like all the feelings that could be felt, all the energy that could be processed and observed within our realm of our 3D has been processed and observed. Has been. Yeah, and it's just all kind of playing out as people have been actively manifesting in this instantaneous way for a while now. And that's why everything has just gotten so out of control. People are manifesting from fear, because we're a very fear-based society, and it's created this this seeming mess. And I'm saying seeming because it sounds like a mess if you pay attention to the media. But like, it's just, this magnified effect of like everybody projecting things on everybody else's cultures. And this is pretty heady for this isn't just like about sociopolitics. This is about consciousness of the earth itself. The earth is a conscious being, and it's finished with the process of energetic creation. It's finished evolving, and it's just like all the pieces and parts are here in this stable energy that there's like only up from here. It's like the earth has processed all of its nutrients and transformed them, and it's only up from here. So we've got Magician in reverse, the High Priestess in reverse, and the Five of Cups. Here's our High Priestess in reverse. It's almost like a Hanged Man scenario, Hanged Woman, and we've got the Magician in the upright. It's a cool depiction. They're both, I will point out, they're both kind of depicted as these. The Magician doesn't really have a polarity as it would seem. It's sort of a non-dualistic card, and the High Priestess is carrying her traditional Torah. The tarot has Kabbalistic roots, which is a Jewish mystical sect, and It's very, very private. It's all about, it sees all these ancient texts as code for how to decipher what the meaning of life really is. And it's not just allegory. It's like a fully realized code for how to do life. And if you study it, you see that all the numbers in it make sense and everything. Or they are the 10 of Wands in reverse. Okay, so we're getting these Magician and High Priestess energies in reverse, and we've got the 5 of Cups, which is like you built up something for a while and then you're gonna lose it. We've got this Alchemist, and it's like the two divine feminine, the divine masculine are at odds here because they're both in this reverse energy that prevents them from elevating from the High Priestess and the Magician to the Empress and the Emperor. It's like these are archetypes, but they kind of ache to embody and roll into the essence of the Emperor and the Empress. So, but here they're both in reverse. So, I was just talking about how we've all been manifesting for a long time. And, we've been able to manifest for a long time, but it hasn't been as crystal clear in the energy as it has been in the past couple decades. It's like an exponential increase in one's ability to manifest instantaneously. And what's happened is that even since unaligned people, even unintegrated, unaligned people are able to manifest as it's going right now, they are manifesting. And it's like people who are unaligned and who are living in fear are manifesting reality, which all of us are engaged in. So we're all watching this reality play, this quote unquote matrix hologram reality play out, and we're having to live it because we are surrounded by all these other people who are manifesting pretty terrible scenarios that affect everybody else. We're projecting our own realities on other people. It's just and so it's the same as like our High Priestess and the Magician in reverse. I'm picturing like the wand backfiring, and the High Priestess is like, it's like this false relationship with spirit. She can't quite get there. And there's the 5 of Cups energy, which is this grief. So there's this grief about the disconnect that they are both having and their inability to elevate. So they are both disconnected. They are independent of each other, but there is this intertwining relationship between the Magician and the High Priestess. The High Priestess is relationship with spirit, and the Magician is this relationship directed at the earth. So one is at the earth, one is within, one is without, one is to spirit, one is to like our inhabited 3D reality. And the Magician is the alchemist. He is able to transform energy at will. So he is the ultimate manifester. He can transform lead into gold if he wanted to. He can do pretty much anything. He can do anything he wants. But here he's in reverse, so it's like this keeps coming out, the Magician in reverse. It's like he's rusty. He's not up to the task. He's having trouble with his confidence. It's like this cup looks like it's flying in the air and spilling to me, just like these cups over here that are flying through the air and spilling. It's like he's surrounded by this constant feeling of like he's leaking energy. And the High Priestess, likewise, she is sitting, she's depicted upside down on the moon since she's in reverse. And it's like, you're about to fall, but fall where? Does she fall up? Does she fall down? She's just sort of like, and she's dressed in this outfit that's a little bit Wednesday Addams, and it's a little bit like a judge. So it's like this very negative perspective on life that she's gotten into. So maybe she's in a depression too. It's like this negative judgment of the divine masculine, and his is like a negative judgment of his own life. He's just constantly leaking energy and grief, and she is in grief with him. They're kind of locked in this Five of Cups energy. It hurts my heart as I'm talking about it. The Three of Swords, speaking of, is the card for heartbreak. And here we have this woman who I first saw as like a pilgrim. So pilgrim is sort of the same as a Wednesday Adam's look, but stabbed in the heart with 3 swords. And it's wintertime, and she has her eyes closed, like she's just having to stand there and tolerate it. Like she can make it through, but as long as she can just like brace herself and withstand this pressure on her inner being. The High Priestess is in this Three of Swords energy, and so is likewise the Magician. They're both in grief, this heartbreak. So that might be what's keeping these two away from being in the upright, keeping them from being able to circulate their energy back to, you know, right now it's inverted. It needs to be flipped around. It needs to be like flowing in the other direction. Needs to be flowing counterclockwise, not clockwise. That's how energy of the enlightened. That's the sign of the enlightenment, is when energy becomes counterclockwise, which means that time travel is possible, blah, blah. 10 of Wands, yeah, that's a note for another time. 10, it's already too heady, but the 10, it's not too heady, don't worry, but it's very abstract. The 10 of Wands is in reverse. Okay, so the 10 of Wands is like picking up all the pieces, and it's like she has suffered this great loss. There's the Three of Swords, and she's here trying to pick up the pieces, but she's in this kind of despair, this locked into this despair and depression, and having to just keep on going with it, doing the minimum amount of work. 6 of Swords. So we do see finally a little bit of an uptick in the energy. There's this the 6 of Swords is going from rough waters to calmer waters kind of energy, and it's a turn for the better. It always kind of reads to me as this sad, somber card, like having to leave behind what one has built. It's like you've created this life and tried to pick the pieces back up, but it's like that heartbreak isn't going away. And so in order to remove those swords from our heart, we have to get out of Dodge. And it even looks like they're going from, they're moving towards this, there's an iceberg in the distance, and they're not that prepared for what it looks like if it is, if they're heading towards a colder place, they're not prepared. So it's like this moving calmer waters, but what does it really mean? See, I've been sleepy all day. This energy is just so dense. They remove the swords, but they're going to take them with them. So it's like they're not preparing for the cold, they're preparing for like a battle. And they have like 6 swords, which is more than they need for the 2 of them. It's like they're already planning to go through enough battles that they might need several backups. And they look clearly hand forged. So maybe, Wonder if this heartache was sort of self-inflicted, because they all look handmade, like they might be sword, I can't remember what you call it, people who make swords. He has a blacksmith, but that's not what I'm looking for. But anyway, they're going, and they have their child, and it's like this new hope of this new life together. We've got the Five of Wands in reverse. The Five of Wands in reverse is like so much outer turmoil. It's like distractions. It's like so much of that you can't really navigate it. It's like so many different plot lines happening. It's like this tangled web of external problems, and you're trying to go from rough waters to calmer waters, but it's this like feeling of this like web that's like wrapped around that you're caught in. And like there's the black and white checkered tablecloth. It's just a lot going on in this card, and it is a lot. There's a lot going on in this card when it's in the upright, but in the reverse, like it's not, this stress and this chaos isn't being managed. And it's, you know, I think that's what they're having to go through. They're having to pass through this web of chaos in order to get where they're going. It's like they have to dive head first into this chaotic reality in order to escape all of this heartbreak and, you know, kind of escape the world of like the 3D idea of karma. There's this big, you know, reminder. We are trying to get our high priestess and our magician back into the upright so that they can ascend. And here they're still kind of stuck in this really heavy, dense 3D energy down here. Like they can't quite get there. So we have the Strength card. Thank you. So there is some light happening in this. There's light coming in. I'm seeing that they're like moving forward. She's walking with the lion. She's not standing and cradling the lion. It almost looks like she has headphones on. It's like she's listening to music and meditating and moving forward. So where this card, she's meditating through heartache, she's still closing her eyes, but she's navigating a much, first of all, she has a guard lion. So, I mean, she's ultimately safe as she's moving forward, even though she can't see where she's stepping. It's like her vulnerability is on the outside, but she's modest. Her outfit that she's wearing, it's like she's no longer she's no longer being like a kept woman who's wrapped up and no part of her is exposed. It's like she's having to hide to like, she's like advanced and can wear whatever's comfortable to her, but she's still embodying her femininity as she's striding forward with her lion. Both of them have their eyes closed, by the way, so it's like they're both guided by spirit itself. More cards are being hesitant to come out, so I think that's interesting. It's like this story is sort of paused. Like I said, it's really dense energy, and it's like not moving forward. There's this essence of strength, but like, yeah, it's like I'm surprised the Hangman isn't out here, but they are moving forward. I forgot, they're going from rough waters to calmer waters, and the divine masculine is leading them, is navigating, and even though they have to go through this turbulence in order to get there, it's like this sandbar with a bunch of sharks swarming. They have to get past that kind of chaos, past the beautiful coral reef that's just it's distracting. They are moving forward, and they are embodying strength and this continued push forward into infinity. It's like when she's meditating, she's guided by that infinite spirit. She has this infinity mark above her head, as if she is with God. She's guided, they are guided. This is like the divine masculine and the divine feminine guiding each other blind through the forest for each other. I might stop the reading here. I mean, I've been shuffling for a while and it doesn't seem like anything wants to come up. The Ten of Pentacles in reverse. See, it's like the story doesn't want to keep telling itself, because that's the ultimate. I mean, not the ultimate. It's just like Ten of Swords in reverse. This is hard. So what kind of energy, let's ask a question. What kind of energy can help us move forward more deliberately? And there is some optimism here. So help us to know what it is that's helping these to keep moving forward, even though they are blind to each other. I think when they're in reverse, it's like they are disconnected from source. The Knight of Cups in reverse. So it's like that's the union between the Knight of Cups. The offer, the proposal is not it's like on hold. But what is it's like that's what they're moving towards, is the Knight of Cups. But it's like this Knight of Cups in reverse is what is giving them this, there's this fear that there's not going to be a reciprocation between them. But this story is being told because they are meant to be together. It's not, the cards are not telling us this story. Spirit's not telling us this story because these people are, for example, star-crossed. Because when they come into the upright, our High Priestess and our Magician, they move into this Knight of Cups energy and start moving into union. This story has kind of this cyclical energy because there's this 8 strength card, but then it just keeps coming out as like what's motivating them to keep moving forward from rough waters to calmer waters is, it's like the rough waters are propelling them, like rough waters are creating a tide backwards, like a wave pool where the waves come from one side of the pool. It's like the rough waters are propelling them forward. So they're caught in this tide. And here comes Temperance. Card 14, I'm seeing 144. Temperance is the twin card. So the 144 who choose themselves and come into balance for each other. They choose themselves in order to choose. Each chooses him or herself in order to be able to choose the other. It's like to choose oneself is to choose the other. If either of these two don't choose their own self, they stay in the reverse. And it's like they have to flip at the same time. They're like two magnets. They're going to, that are equal but opposite polarity. They're going to flip, and what's happening now is that they're coming into balance. She's passing the water back and forth between two cups. It's like the emotion between them is flowing back and forth, and we've got this circuit of energy and emotion and consciousness flowing between them now. And if they can stay in balance with that emotion, they will come upright relatively swiftly. It's like the moment of balance is the moment that they snap into union. Because the moment they go into the upright, there's this rapid, like you're playing solitaire on the computer back in like 20 years ago, like in 1999, and the solitaire card, you've played the last card, and it's like the game knows that you finished the puzzle, so it automatically consolidates all the cards. And that's what happens when the High Priestess and the Magician come upright. So we have the Two of Pentacles in reverse. It's like there's this just this back and forth, like they're coming into balance with each other and coming into balance with their with their polarity. But the Two of Pentacles is like they're both trying to juggle they're both trying to juggle a lot. It's like they're both trying to juggle and trying to come into balance. It's like they're trying to, having to like compensate, and it's like it's like shadow work. Takes strength and shadow work to get to this energy of temperance. Let me see if this is, I keep thinking I'll want to read from this, and then this is the Tao Te Ching. I'm just opening to it and seeing if it's speaking to our message. Number 21. The master keeps her mind always at one with the Tao. That is what gives her her radiance. The Tao is ungraspable. How can her mind be at one with it? Because she doesn't cling to ideas. These are the ideas that we're clinging to. The Tao is the eternal spirit. So that is their connection to, if you're in the Tao, in the flow of spirit, you are, that would put them in the upright. That is what gives her her radiance. The Tao is ungraspable. How can her mind be at one with it? Because she doesn't cling to ideas. She doesn't cling to ideas. She needs to move away from the thinking and move into her essence as a feeler. The Tao is dark and unfathomable. That's the shadow work. How can it make her radiant? Because she lets it. Since before time and space were, the Tao is. It is beyond is and is not. How do I know this is true? I look inside myself and see. So this is like the eternal presence of spirit. It's like it's inevitable that these two are going to flip into the upright. It's inevitable. That is how the flow of life works. That is why this story is telling itself. That's why there's this sense of like, is this ever going to happen? It's such dense energy and so much karma and shadow work that needs to be worked through, but they are going to flip in the upright, else this would not be a story that keeps telling itself. It's like the end has not yet happened. And the end is actually the infinite. You know, you see this temperance and the flow of water back and forth, and the deep well of eternal unlimited water and consciousness, which is kind of representative of the Akashic records, and the infinite above her head. And they're moving towards the infinite, not just a nitty-gritty kind of 3D union. They're moving towards this relationship with the divine. Yeah. And that's going to turn the Knight of Cups upright. Okay. I think that's our message.